So you've called for a referendum. Why?
Well, because one of the issues facing London and Londoners is the future of aviation and the whole debate around Heathrow. And clearly Heathrow want to put in a third runway and people are concerned about that. But actually, my concern is that the whole debate about the expansion of aviation in London has been dominated by vested interest, either Heathrow or Gatwick. And I say it's time to be visionary. It's time to look at not just the needs for the next 5 or 10 years, and that's all that Heathrow would be. It'd just simply be sticking plaster. We need to look at airport capacity and the needs for the next 30, 40, 50 years. At a time when China are building 40 new airports between now and 2020, India are building a whole host of airports, other countries are building airports, people in Britain are going to want links to the rest of the world. And it's important, I think, that we make the case for a brand new airport. Now, I have been speaking to some of the leading players behind the proposed Thames Estuary Airport, and we brought together, and we are bringing together, a bunch of financiers who want to build this airport without taxpayers' money. And what we've got to do, when you think about the Davis report, that there's been report after report, millions upon millions spent, probably more will be spent. We've got to draw a line under this. It is time to ask the 8.6 million people of London what they think.
But the Davis Commission has been speaking to a lot of experts. So have they not got it right?
Well, one of the big problems about the Davis Commission was that it's easily dismissed the Thames Estuary Airport. And the way it did it, it actually said in the interim report, some people will accuse us of not being ambitious enough when we dismissed it. Actually, too right. I think they haven't been ambitious. The problem with this debate is that it's been centred around where to put a new runway in London or in the southeast. Actually, what we need to be looking at is the wider picture here. The fact that Paris is filling up, Frankfurt is filling up, Schiphol in Amsterdam is filling up. We need to make sure that we have a large hub airport for northwestern Europe.
Zach Goldsmith is saying that we don't need to build any more airports. All we need to do is improve the infrastructure between the existing ones and increase competition. Why is his idea not the right one?
Because at some stage you're going to run out of capacity. Some people say very soon, and we're not being ambitious enough. You've got a choice here. Do we want people to be able to fly from London? Businessmen, businesswomen, but also, let's not forget, London is one of the most diverse communities in the world. We have people here in London who want to go and meet friends and family around the world, and they should be able to do so. It's important that we need to draw a line under this debate. For far too long, millions have been spent upon reports after report after report. What we need to do is draw a line, ask Londoners what they think about this new airport.
But a referendum is going to cost a lot of money, surely.
What you do is that you run the referendum the same time as another poll. We've got lots of elections coming up in the future. We've got the referendum coming up. That's going to be a nationwide referendum. We've got the 2018 local elections. You run it on the back of that.
But it's still going to cost money, isn't it? Can you justify that cost when so much has been spent on these commissions and inquiries already?
Well, 15 to 20 million pounds has been spent on the Davis Commission, it's been estimated. But actually, the cost is not stopping there. We are going to continue to spend millions and millions because if we go for Heathrow, or the government goes for Heathrow, what will happen? There'll be judicial reviews, there'll be counterclaims, and that will continue costing millions, and we'll just carry on and on and on, just as we have spending more and more, and actually report after report after report. It's time to draw a line under this issue. It is time to ask the people of London what they think. It's time to have a referendum.
There are people living around Heathrow at the moment who rely on Heathrow Airport for their jobs. What message have you got for them?
Well, what I would say to them is actually what will happen over time is that the new airport clearly will become more and more popular. This will not happen overnight. This gives you time to plan for the future. But actually, think about the opportunity that happens after, say, 10, 12, 15 years when Heathrow moves. Think about the redevelopment opportunity. Actually, effectively, there will be a whole new city within London, and think about all the new jobs that there would be created there, all the new opportunities, housing, retail, maybe manufacturing, new services. It'll be an exciting area that people want to be part of, and that's a great thing about London. Think about the London Docklands. Historically, it was a hub for trade with the rest of the world. When it went into decline, when that sort of shipping trade went into decline, it regenerated itself. The Canary Wharf is now Europe's second largest financial district. The same thing will happen with the Heathrow area or the Heathrow city. It'll be a fantastic modern city with jobs for everyone. And those who want to stay in the airport industry will be able to, over time, move from Heathrow to the new airport. And I'm sure their skills will be in demand.
So you're saying you would open this up to the public to decide which airport it would be, but you're saying you're in favour of the Thames Estuary Airport. Why?
Oh, I'm in favour of Thames Estuary Airport because actually every other solution is stick and plaster. If you put a new runway at Heathrow, it'll be full in 5 to 10 years. If you put a new runway in Gatwick, we've got to be looking to the future. Actually, London's been through this debate in the past. I know it was a long time ago, but the main airport for London used to be Croydon. And Croydon had a choice. They either knocked down everything around it and expanded, or we looked for a new airport. And our forefathers in London and in the government decided to open up the London Heathrow Airport. And over time, Croydon closed down and London Heathrow became the world leading airport. Heathrow is full. Heathrow will be full even if you build a new runway. So actually, it's about time we looked at a completely brand new airport to fill the aspirations of the next few years.
Right, so you've said you're going to have a public referendum. But you've also said that you're in favour of the Thames Estuary Airport. If the public don't agree with you, what are you going to do?
Well, I'm in favour of Thames Estuary Airport because it is a future visionary solution. And what's important here is that we have some of the leading players behind the project and we have the finances ready to build this airport at no cost to the taxpayers. So that will be the strong case that I will be making. This will not cost you money. It will solve the problem of jets flying over central London, which could cause danger. The fact that Heathrow will fill up in 5 to 10 years anyway if we build a new runway. But what's important here is it's the people of London who have their say. It's about time that we stopped it being all about the vested interest of Heathrow and Gatwick, and the people of London have their say about whether they want this new airport.
So you're saying it's London's decision, not yours, ultimately?
Absolutely right. I mean, actually, in fact, it is not the Mayor of London's decision anyway. At the moment, it seems to be the government listening to Heathrow or Gatwick or other vested interests. What I'm saying, this is far too important to London and to Londoners to be left to those vested interests. The real vested interest I want to hear about is what the 8.6 million Londoners think about. Let's ask them what they think and then let Londoners decide.